now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call our meeting to order today. We will begin with approval of minutes for July 20th. Any comments, additions, or motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. We'll begin with Commissioner reports and comments. Vice President Baker.
Just two things. Good morning, everyone. Again, just like to thank all of those involved with our Ag Fair last week. They did an awesome job. I never heard a negative complaint. Everything was positive. I'd just like to thank them for their dedication and all the time that they put into that successful event. And the second thing is maybe at some point, I haven't heard anything on the professional court bridge. Maybe we could get an update to see what the progress is and if we're on schedule and so forth. I think that would be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Kiefer.
Just a reminder for anyone here or anyone at home or at work listening that tonight is National Night Out in several of our communities throughout Washington County. It's a day or an evening for the public to interact with police officers, learn about policing, community policing, neighborhood watch efforts, crime efforts, and get out there. A lot of businesses, nonprofits are providing some goodies or maybe free food. Maybe you have to pay for food in some places, but largely a free event for the community. So get out there and enjoy it.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Burkett.
Good morning, everyone. Last week, I attended the Maryland Municipal League meeting hosted by the town of Williamsport, and just wanted to thank the mayor and town of Williamsport for putting on a great event. On Saturday, I attended the Firemen's Picnic with my family, and just wanted to thank all the firemen and those that work in public safety for the work they do, and which leads me into my next comment. When three of the commissioners, Commissioner Baker, Commissioner Kiefer, and myself voted to reduce the employment tax several months ago, there was an outcry of fear-mongering saying we were putting public safety at risk as we voted to reduce taxes. But we made it clear that public safety needed to remain the top priority, and in the upcoming weeks, we will be taking action on some public safety issues that I'm sure all the commissioners will support. With that said, the citizens of Washington County deserve to know that we finished the fiscal year with a $29 million surplus. So what's that mean? It means that not only did the county get everything it wanted in this year's budget, but it also got all the fluff. We should not be in the business of making that kind of money off the backs of our citizens. And then one last point on this issue of the tax cut. The amount of surplus we saw shows that we did not need that tax increase in 2018. It shows that had the commissioners who supported the tax increase not voted for that tax increase, we still would have seen a $15 million surplus. The citizens deserve another tax break, and we need to silence the fear-mongering and naysayers.
I'm going to have to interrupt.
And then finally, let me finish with this. Finally, let me say this. I, along with all the commissioners, received over 100 emails on the skate park, and I personally responded to every single one of them. I did not receive one negative email against it. One county employee said that this amount of support for a project is unheard of. One county representative said he has not seen this kind of outcry except for the 2018 tax hike. It is important that we wrap this up today with supporting this project. This project is not just a city of Hagerstown project, but a Washington County project. That's all I have,
Okay,
Mr. President.
I don't mean to skip out of order, but you weren't here in January of 2019. We were presented with a $3.9 million deficit, and the SAFER grant wasn't fully funded. So some of the deficit did come from the SAFER grant being fully funded. That was $2.5 million, and we were $3.9 million short in money at that time. We had to come up with a solution. So I challenge your remarks about the fear mongering. You weren't here, and I don't think you're right to your own opinion, but I'm going to challenge your opinion on that. If there's no other comments, I'm going to continue with Mr. Wagner. Commissioner Wagner, your comments, sir.
Good morning. Ag Expo, as Commissioner Baker said, was a huge success. I attended and bought some stuff at the auction. Attended Leitersburg Annual Safety Days. Saturday morning, it was a good event put on by Leitersburg Fire Company. They did a nice job of it, and there was a pretty good turnout, and there was a pretty good turnout of first responders there to support that first annual safety days. They started back up, I think it was postponed last year because of COVID. On skateboarding, if anybody's listening, I do appreciate all the emails. I don't know where it started. We wouldn't support that. I have no idea. I talked to some of the organizers and tried to get to the bottom of why they thought the commissioners weren't going to support that. No idea where that started. Now, I appreciate the emails, and it was good reading, all of them. In fact, I was going to give an award for the best email. I was sitting there figuring them up. But, and I had expressed my concerns to Will Boyer and a couple others that don't quite understand how that started. We approved that back on June 8th for the first 150. So, you know, I don't know, but, you know, thank you for the emails anyway. As far as Commissioner Burgett's remarks, I do tend to agree. You weren't here, so we were faced with a $4 million deficit almost, and there was a lot going on. We didn't know about COVID, what that was going to hold. I think I'd prefer to hear all that from our chief financial officer. That is her job to explain how that transpired. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. I attended over the weekend on Friday the grand opening of Upper STEM, which has been open about a year. Due to COVID, they did not have a grand opening, so it was attended by Secretary of Commerce Kelly Schultz, Tom Ryford, and the gentleman whose name I forget, but he's the Maryland Brewery. His name will come to me after I probably say this. He was there as the MC. Local man, graduated from North High in 1975, returned to his community to open up a business. Also attended the grand opening, or the 25th celebration, which they like to call the re-grand opening of Discovery Station on Sunday. Very good program, from displays from the Titanic to baseball to interactive skills for the children to visit. It's something downtown that people can bring their families to learn and have fellowship with their family. Next, I also attended many events at the Ag Expo. Agriculture is one of our main businesses in Washington County. To walk through the exhibits and see the kids and the families, and probably now, I'm dating my age, but I've now seen grandchildren of some of my friends there still with animals on display. A very positive event. And again, I'd like to remind everybody, National Night Out is in just about every community in Washington County. Urge everybody to go out and blend amongst your neighbors. With that being said, that concludes my report. We now will go to staff comments. Any staff? Krista?
I have the Washington County Historic District Commission requesting to accept the recommendation to reappoint Ann Aldrich and Vernell Doyle. I have several. Did you want me to go individually or as a whole for the same committee?
That just goes whole.
Ann Aldrich and Vernell Doyle, each to serve a second 3-year term, September 1 through August 31st, 2024, and to appoint Courtney Lowry and Lloyd Yavner to serve a first full term, August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2024. And further, to accept the recommendation to reappoint Edie Wallace to serve a third term from August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2024. And with that recommendation, they are requesting an exemption to the 2-term limit as outlined in County Policy PR 22.
Commissioners?
Motion to approve is stated.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Chris, anything else?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Downey, anything from legal?
No comments this morning.
County Administrator?
Just a few things. Thank you, President Klein, and good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to thank all the county employees that stepped up last week and kept everything running smoothly while I was away. I got a few emails and things, but I appreciated that. I know a lot of people did a lot of extra things while I was gone, so I just wanted to thank you all for that. And as most of you are aware, today is my Executive Office Assistant Kristen Dale's last day with county government. I wanted to personally thank her for all that she's done since she's been here, and I want to wish her the best of luck with her move and her new position. So, Kristen, you will be missed. And the last thing I had, just to echo what the commissioners said about National Night Out, I encourage everyone to go out and participate in tonight's activities. And that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. No further staff comments. We'd proceed with citizens' participation. We're a little early. If anyone would come in around the 10:25 mark, I would go back to that if that's okay. Nathan's Ridge? People here from Nathan's Ridge?
They confirmed that we did confirm with them they will be here.
Okay, well,
We're running a little early.
yeah, we're early. Just I would remind everybody to try to arrive half an hour early prior. Okay, and next up, Craig Rowe is not, is he here?
I think
Hagerstown Airport.
Rick and Allison are here.
Yeah, let's go with the airport
Go to the
folks.
airport.
Just make note, please tell everyone to arrive 30 minutes early based on our length of our discussions. Good morning, everyone. Please introduce yourself in the matter.
Good morning, Allison Hartshorn, Office of Grant Management, and joining me is.
Rick Johnson, Airport Director.
This morning, we're here to seek the acceptance of grant funds in the amount of $1,168,383 from the Federal Aviation Administration. The proposed funding is for costs related to operations, personnel, cleaning, sanitation, janitorial services, combating the spread of pathogens at the airport, and debt services payments.
This grant's similar to the CARES grant that we received and the CRISA grant. So both grants, all three grants, are, as Allison described, good grants that we look forward to using for our operational needs and, like she said, prevent pathogens and the growth of coronavirus. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
I certainly support the grant, but since we have some time, would you mind sharing with us how this will be used? Is this kind of like a one-time installation of upgraded HVAC units? Is it ongoing cleaning and sanitation of the airport? How will we use this money?
So this money will be used similar to the other two grants. We're going to apply it towards payroll and operational expenses, and then it'll be the excess money that we draw down from that will go into a fund that will help support the airport at a later date instead of having to come back to the county for additional funds. But it'll take the burden of payroll and operational expenses off the airport and actually help it be more sustainable and self-sustaining, actually. So.
And these funds go from, it backtracks to January 20th of this year, and it'll go till September 30th, 2024.
Okay.
Any other questions? Motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank
Let's
you.
move forward with the water trail. Gentlemen, please introduce yourself in the matter.
Good morning, Commissioners. Todd Moser, Real Property Administrator. Andrew Eshelman, Director of Public Works. Program Open Space Antietam Water Trail Acquisition. This was an agenda item on the July 20th agenda that you had asked to bring back today. Move to approve the option agreements for partial property acquisition, including fee simple and/or easements for the properties listed below for the property listed below, to approve an ordinance approving said purchase and to authorize the execution of the necessary documentation to finalize the acquisition. Property owner at 458 Antietam Drive has agreed to sell the parcel to the county for the Antietam Water Trail project. Program Open Space will cover a significant portion of the acquisition costs to include appraisals, title work, and property acquisition. Project would support the development of the Antietam Water Creek Trail. This location would serve as an unofficial start of the Antietam Creek Water Trail to support uses included boating, tubing, fishing, and general recreation. This location was the former site of the Antietam paper mill dating back to the 1700s, but the site has remained in its present state since the building burned down almost 20 years ago. The purchase of the property provides the opportunity to redevelop this formal local community landmark. County has partnered with numerous municipalities, state and local agencies, businesses, and nonprofits of the development of the water trail to improve access and recreation on the waterway. The county has applied for grants and aid in the development of the site, which is anticipated to include a parking area, stream access, lighting, signage, fencing, and a small picnic area. And I believe Andrew this time has included several different.
Yeah, just some concepts for what we shared with the residents out there when we were showcasing what this could potentially be if we move forward with acquisition into development. So the exhibit up there on the screen on the left, the hatched area in yellow is actually what we are subdividing, we'll be purchasing. And then on the right side, you can see a concept for the parking area and some of the site amenities. There are also some other slides in there that show just some concepts of some features. And the last one is some photos from Rose's Mill, which was a site that we developed over a year now that's been in use.
So again, the property cost would be $14,000. The fee area, 1.2551 acres. Program open space funding, if the board agrees to acquire the property, would pay for $11,750 for property costs plus $2,000 for appraisals.
Who currently owns that property?
That's the owner of Creekside,
Who's that?
Lisa Hennikel.
Why is this going to cost the county more if we don't purchase it?
So we are required to get appraisals done on the property before extending any offer to the property owner. So program open space, if the property is acquired, will pay for a portion of those appraisals. If we do not, the county's on the hook, but there's no way to go around that process. Appraisals do have to be completed before we extend any offer to any property owner.
So are we already discussing developing this into a park?
That's
With
the
the
future.
owner?
Yeah, that's the future intent, and that's been on
Well,
discussion all along.
Right, we would be we're buying this in fee, so we would be the owner.
So the purchase is already done?
No.
That decision's already been made?
No, that's why we're here today, for the authorization to purchase the property.
Yes, I mean, in order to move forward, the first step is to purchase the property. There was program open space money that was put in the schedule that was approved back in June. So now we're here before you for that phase. But before, we didn't want to go too far down that path of, well, what's the ultimate use? So we thought we'd share some of the concepts so you and the public would know this is what we would intend to use the property for, to develop it, to have another location where people could park, they could access the stream, in the future they could fish, do those sorts of activities. Right now it's being used, but it's private property and there's some issues with that. So yeah, today's vote is just to acquire the property.
It's basically gonna service the whole water trail, and it's really pretty bad conditions down there from what I've seen. So, yeah.
Yes.
I would motion, we can't do anything but improve it. I'd motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 5-0. You abstain 4-0 and 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did anybody from Nathan's Ridge arrive? Okay, we'll go back to that. I see Major, you're here. Would you like to come forward and begin? We're a little early.
Good morning. Major Craig Rowe, Warden of the Washington County Detention Center. Here this morning, requesting a motion to move to approve a multi-signature change order from $1,976,548.62 to $2,176,548.62. It's an increase of $200,000. It's for claims that will be reimbursed by the state. We're requesting this approval of the change order so that invoices for catastrophic billing can be paid and then submitted to the state for reimbursement. The contract with Prime Care Medical, which is the company that does our medical services, states that in the scope of work, Section W, that the center will also, upon receiving appropriate documentation from the contractor, file for and reimburse the contractor for any funds received from the state for any individual inmate in excess of $25,000 per fiscal year pursuant to Maryland Code Correctional Services Article Section 9-405. The detention center must pay out these funds out of our budget in order to invoice the state of Maryland in order to get their reimbursement. These are unbudgeted funds due to you never know what you're going to have in terms of inmates with medical problems or how many would actually go over that $25,000. Due to the pandemic and the courts being closed for such a lengthy time, the inmates with these medical conditions have remained incarcerated for far longer than what they typically would have. You know, so in the 8 years that I've been the warden, this is the first time we've ever run into this situation where we had nearly $200,000 worth of catastrophic billing. Primarily, it's for 4 separate inmates that had major medical problems that I can't really discuss, you know, because of HIPAA and all that. But this is basically just requesting that the change order be approved so that we can go ahead and pay these funds so that then they can turn around and be reimbursed and put back into the general fund. It's kind of a crazy way that it's done, but that's the way the state does it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Major. Nathan's Ridge, folks, have you arrived? Please come forward. Please come forward, introduce yourself and the matter and any of your guests.
Good morning. I'm the Executive Director of Nathan's Ridge. My name is Carlia Summers.
Good morning. I'm the Director of Nathan's Ridge. My name is Janelle Rollins.
My name is Lorenzo Jones. I will be working at Nathan's Ridge.
Please have a seat, make yourself comfortable. Thank you.
We also have one more that will need to speak. Can she just sit behind
Sure,
us?
whatever, that's fine. Please begin.
Okay. So we are here because we are coming to Hagerstown with Nathan's Ridge, which will be a transitional living program for men coming from incarceration who also have a history of substance abuse disorders. And we are presenting this as an actual program and not just sober living. And so it does have a sisters program, which we currently have 2 houses running in Frederick County, which is for women and children, which is also a program. And so we have Sam here who will talk about the women's program, and she was also incarcerated prior to coming to the program. And then Lorenzo, who has also been has been incarcerated and turned his life around due to having structured programming as well. We do plan to come to the county as of August 15th, have obtained a property on North Potomac as of right now, and we just basically want to present the program to you guys, which will offer mental health therapy. We have a nurse practitioner, we have a psychiatrist, as well as trauma therapists, also meditation and mindfulness. It is enhanced program, and we have been able to bring a lot of people on board in order to ensure that not only do we cut down on the chances of relapse, but we also cut down on the chances of reoffending, and basically ensure long-term sobriety. So I'm gonna let the two speak to it. I feel like they can tell the story better than I can. I just run the program, and so I'll pass to Lorenzo.
All right. Hello again. My name is Lorenzo Jones, and I will be working at Nathan's Ridge, Miss Carlea's program. So, I would say my entire life I've been in and out of the criminal justice system. Since I was about 16, I've been in a cycle of incarceration and recidivism. It's just been constant battle. I've struggled with addiction, and I think the only thing that's been able to change my life and get me on the right track are programs like Nathan's Ridge, post-incarceration treatment programs that have structure. I went through New Horizon in Emmitsburg. It was a 6-month intensive treatment outpatient program, and the things I learned there just changed my life. I've been home for about almost 3 years now, and before that would have never happened if it wasn't for programs like Nathan's Ridge. I just learned so much. It just gave me the resources and the support that I needed to be able to change my life. I know I wouldn't be here now where I am if it weren't for people like Ms. Carlea and these type of programs. Since I've been home, I've had stable employment the entire time, aside from COVID and everything. I've been employed the entire time. Before I wasn't able to hold a job. Before I struggled with mental health and addiction, substance abuse, and I've been sober for almost 3 years now. I went to college. I completed a semester. I would have still been in college if it had not been for COVID. They closed the college I was going to down. I went to Frederick Community College. But even though I wasn't able to continue through college, I was able to get my Maryland real estate license, and I am a Maryland real estate agent at this moment for Berkshire Hathaway in Frederick, Maryland. I maintain housing. I've been at my apartment now with my girlfriend for 2 years now. I have a relationship with my family, relationship with my children, and I'm just living life as a productive citizen, and I owe it all to programs like Nathan's Ridge. Without that, probably wouldn't be here right now.
Very good story.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
And I like you're a real estate agent. How about that?
Yes.
You stay out of Washington County, daggone it.
Who would like to speak next? Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name's Samantha Baker. I also completed Carlea's program Rainbow of Love, Andrea's house in Frederick County. I'm originally from Allegheny County. I have dealt with addiction on and off for about the past 15 years. Through that struggle, I have been incarcerated in and out of the system. I have tried numerous approaches upon release from the system to reintegrate back into society, but it never worked for me. I came to Carlea in November 2020 from MCIW. I did Gardensia, which was an 8507 program. I was there for 6 months, and that wasn't enough. I had been living this lifestyle for so long, I didn't really know how to adapt to society. Now, mind you, I come from a great family. I am the black sheep. My family is all very productive citizens. So I know how to live, I just wasn't used to it. And I will say, this is the only program I've ever been through that not only shows you a new way of life, but also teaches you how to be able to do that yourself. I stayed with Carlea for 6 months, I believe, and I was able to get my own place. Not only get my own place, but actually pay my rent ahead of time, because she allowed me to stay there to work to do this programming to give me more structure than I would have had anywhere else. This sounds crazy, but I thrived in structure. I did very well incarcerated because there were set rules, times, things I had to do. Any other program I had been in, that did not carry over except for Rainbow of Love. I had classes, I had accountability, and as I worked, I allowed myself, I gained more freedom, so I was able to work, I was able to rekindle my relationship with my family, I'm able to start my own family. And I've never had that anywhere. I'm getting ready to work for Carlia, and I can't say anything, but it's a blessing and a privilege. This program to me is different than any other because I know how much the people in it care. It is not a paycheck. Trust me, I don't think they make that much money. They are doing this because they want to see people change their life. And it's not just for the duration of the program. We stay in touch afterwards. Anything I need, I can go to this woman and she will help me in any way she can. I can't tell you enough how much this program changed my life. It saved my life.
Good, very good.
Amen.
And please.
Again, my name is Janelle Rollins, and I'm the director of Nathan's Ridge. Listening to both of them speak, this is the difference between sober living and transitional living. We want to walk with people through their entire journey, supporting them. Each one of us come from a background of some type of substance use disorder, family member, seeing what it looks like when you walk with people and help them along the way. And that is what Nathan's Ridge is here for. We want to walk with the men. We want to take them through every stage of life, skilled learning, with mental health services, doing transitional living as far as financial accountability, stability, teaching them, getting them reacquainted with their families. We have parenting classes as well for the men. So we want to walk with them. We want to be there for them. We want to support them because we know what it looks like when somebody has support when they're struggling with this disease. We thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any follow-up questions, comments?
All good stories, thank you. Lorenzo, the reason I said that, I'm a real estate agent, and you got too much willpower and drive. I don't want you in Washington County. That's with my real estate.
Thank you.
I would just say we need programs like this in Hagerstown, and we need to support programs like this in Hagerstown that encourage permanent life changes in our community and in people's lives. And you know, I share a similar story as you all do, and look where I'm sitting. And so all it takes is one person believing in somebody and putting the effort and the time into that person to make a difference in their lives. So good for you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just
Oh,
one
I'm
comment.
sorry, go ahead.
Both of you, your stories are real, they're heart-touching. Keep telling your story. I don't think there's one person in here that hasn't been directed by someone someone positive, such as your director. I know I'm sitting here because of coaches and teachers directing me through life. Otherwise, I could have easily been in the same situation as both of you had been in. So just keep up the great work. Tell your story. It's a wonderful story, and I guarantee you every county commissioner had cold chills just listening to your story. So thank you.
It does take a lot of courage to speak before an audience, and I think that bodes well to the organizations that have helped you. And that's a great way to thank them in return. If you haven't met a lady named Susan Buchanan in the back in our audience, she's our Director of Grants Management. I'm sure your organization may interact with her from time to time, get to know her.
All right.
And the reason Randy doesn't want you in Washington County, he knows he's getting up in age, and you're a young guy, no youth.
Thank you.
That's true.
Oh, man.
All right.
Can't run as fast.
Again, we thank you for your appearance and for your stories.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioners, we'll now go forward with citizens' participation. We'll call people forward by the first row. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes so we can be wary and mindful of our schedule and other people behind you. So, starting with the front row, is there anyone for citizens' participation? Please come forward, introduce yourself.
My name is Renee Gamby, and I live just right down the street here by the square. I've been here for about 15 years or so. I'm here in support of the Hagerstown Skatepark, the funding. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I'm definitely just asking for your full support for that final last bit of the grant. I'm a mother. I have 2 kids that are 5 and 7. So, you know, I'm obviously thinking about their future and everything. And, you know, Hagerstown is doing a great job with having more activities for younger age kids. And obviously the skate park would be great for that. But I feel like this town definitely lacks a lot for the middle school age and high school and even for young adults too. So I feel like this city should be putting all of its fullest efforts into supporting some of the most like, you know, when someone's a teenager, they're going through all those hormonal changes and all that, and we know that like that's a pretty like rough age, you know, and so we should be putting like all of our full support into that. So I really feel like, you know, this project should be funded to its fullest and not, you know, not just kind of cutting it short. I really feel like it will definitely be a very popular attraction, and I think it will bring a lot of people from outside of town and, you know, revenue to this town. And yeah, so generally I just, you know, skateboarding is like a really important activity. It's, you know, in the Olympics now. It's really positive for kids and adults. It's great for like their mental health and all that, and it's an activity that is like totally free to do, so a lot of low income kids are able to access that. So I see a lot of skateboarders downtown all the time, and you know, they don't really have anywhere to go, so they're skating in like dangerous spots, or they're, you know, where businesses are. So having a really great attraction there will help reduce, you know, injuries from dangerous areas in town, and will help kind of prevent like restlessness and vandalism that can occur from just like hanging around in weird spots trying to skate. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say. So I just hope that you guys like fully support it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We also, I think we have some wipes up there, so if the next person comes forward would like to use those. Oh, thank you. I appreciate your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I can't speak for every county commissioner, but I think at some point in time in life, we all have been on skateboards. I know I have.
I roller skated.
And roller skated and all that.
I still skate.
All right, in the front row, anybody else want to come forward? State your name and address for the record, please, and
All right, my
try to
name's
stay within
Sherry
3 minutes.
Scalero, and I actually reside in Martinsburg, West Virginia, but I have granddaughters and a son and his family who live in the Hagerstown area, and I've seen the benefits of skateboarding in our family, but in the culture in general. I'm a grandma now. Things have changed a lot since I was a kid. My son, from an early age, as soon as he got a driver's license, he was taking our station wagon out with his skateboard around Martinsburg and just going out and spending time with kids that were aimlessly skating around in parking lots and stuff, getting kicked out. But he would spend time with them, learn about them, and make changes in their lives. And he developed from that a concern for others in our society and our culture, and is in a profession now where he works with those people that may be disenfranchised or at risk, and that's his job now. And he's tried to raise his daughters, my granddaughters over there, Amelia and Nina, with the same sort of awareness. And skateboarding, I agree with everything she said, and I would add to it that skate parks are somewhere not just for skateboarders, but they're for anybody with wheels. They coincide very well with wheelchairs and roller skates and rollerblades and things like that. We have family in Ohio. We just were there this summer. The girls got to skate there. The thing that impresses me when I've seen these different skate parks is the vast age group that's there. From my age, I am not a skateboarder, to the very young, and they help each other. They stop. They see somebody struggling, and they stop. You don't know them, they don't know you, but you have that commonality. And I think it brings people together in a way that other sports don't really bring people together. Different age groups, different backgrounds. People enjoy all kinds of sports. I don't know of many sports as inexpensive as skateboarding. If anybody's got a skateboard, they can get out there and have a good time. Most sports are not accessible to everybody, but this is one that has the availability of being, accessible for all ages, all people groups. I'm particularly interested in seeing how it's affecting people like my oldest granddaughter, who is reaching, she just turned 12 in July. And, you know, it's a struggle. It was a long time ago for most of us when we were that age, but it's a struggle. And skateboarding has given her an awareness of her own body and its own abilities at a time when it feels like a foreigner to her. She's developed a confidence and a poise from the bit she's been able to do. Her dad and mom both work full-time. They can't get to the nearest park all the time. I think it's Urbana where they go, maybe 45 minutes away or so. It would just be a wonderful thing to get kids together, to give them an accessible place where they could come together. They're in a rural area. You've got kids right here in town. They all would utilize it. They would all learn from one another, and not to mention the variation of ages. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you there. Continuing with the front row, anyone else?
I love to talk, but I'm not really good at talking in front of strangers, so.
Okay, please introduce yourself and your address, please.
Hello, my name is Joshua Snyder. I live in South Potomac Street. I'm not gonna give the exact address just because I don't know anybody here. I live down by Rockies. I'm 41 years old, and I've been skating since the early 90s, and I've been continuously going out of town to skate. I mean, I moved away for years. I moved back to the area about 6 years ago. But ever since I was 12, 13 years old, riding with friends' parents, driving hours to go to skate parks, getting dropped off at metro stations to take trains places to go to skate parks as a teenager, being out of town all the time. And it's crazy, that same group of people that I was skating with then at 41 years old, still to this day, once a week, usually every Sunday, we bounce out of town, drive, either Frederick or like they said, Urbana, or we go to just skate parks all through Maryland. We go through PA, down through Virginia, and everywhere's got skate parks. And the kids are managing them well themselves, and they've learned to take care of them. Like she said, building bonds with each other. You'll never see more dedication and determination from a group of kids that are skating and trying to learn tricks. Like, I mean, grown men don't have that don't skate. Sorry, I'm stuttering. The determination and the drive there to be creative and to learn, it's awesome. And the camaraderie and bond that you gain with your friends from learning, and I mean the pain that you put into it, you literally bleed for this because of love. And I mean, I have a son now. I'd love to be able to have him grow up at the skate park and want to go to the skate park with me if he chooses to. And being able to do that locally would be great. And with these concrete parks, when they're built well and they are built well and they drain properly, they last a lifetime. I mean, the maintenance is so low on them. They last a long time. And I just think it would be something really good for the community. And
thank you.
It's on you guys from here on out. If you could pull through, it would be awesome, and everybody would appreciate it greatly. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Would somebody want to yield to you, sir? Sir, would you want to yield to her so she could go?
Let me hit you off real quick, because I didn't do that.
Okay. Thank you for wiping there.
Yes, sir.
Please introduce yourself and your address, and we'll get you out here quick.
I am Brianna Maddox. I live over off of Marsh Pike, north end of Hagerstown. I just moved here a year ago from Baltimore area. You're gonna get sick and tired of hearing about skate parks, but I'm here to talk about the skate park. I moved here in August last year. My boyfriend and I bought our first home, and I am a nurse for Emeritus Home Health. If anyone has any, no, don't ask me medical questions, please. I'm here, I feel very strongly about the skate park. Obviously, it has health benefits. Washington County actually met their weight loss goal for 2021. So already, congratulations, Washington County, because we are up there in weight management and poor health. So skate parks will offer a great benefit for, like, I can't remember her name, but this lady right here, she stated it is great for mental health, it is great for physical health. It's just a great way to get people together. This past weekend, I went to Shrimptown Skate Park because unfortunately we don't have anything local except for a DIY spot in Martinsburg. And it is a DIY spot. They're working on it, and it's getting there. But I went to Shrimptown, which is in, I don't know. Sykesville. Yeah, Sykesville. And I picked up a skateboard. I am 28 years old. I've been on and off, but my boyfriend's an avid skater, and he is 30 years old, and it is something he is very passionate about. When I went to Shrimptown this weekend, I had my skateboard that I just got and put together because I'm really trying to get back into it. I enjoy it. It's a great activity, and being 28, I need activity and I need things to do. So I went to the skate park and I saw the amount of people that were there. And I was really nervous. I just sat there because I'm not a good skater. And I just sat there really, really nervous. And I had two people come up to me. One man was a biker, and he was using the skate park. Like she said, it is for skateboarders, scooters, rollerbladers, everything. It is just a great place for people to come together. But I had this one guy come up to me. He's like, "Why aren't you doing anything?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm pretty freaking nervous." And he's like, "No judgment here. You know, we are here to come together. We are all here for each other. No judgment." And then a little girl came up to me with her elbow pads and everything and her helmet, because I still sat there after the guy came up to me. And this little girl came up, and she's obviously getting into it, and she's just starting out. And she said, "Hi." I said, "Hi." She said, "Do you skate?" She's like the only girl there. And I said, "Well, I wouldn't say I skate, but I'm trying just like you." And she said, she grabbed my hand. This girl doesn't even know me. Grabbed my hand, and she's like, "Come with me." And she like took me to like a small, easy part of the skate park, and just like was like, "Try with me. Let's just practice together." And I just was like in awe, because kids are just amazing. And what I'm getting at is, I had an older adult on a bike and a little girl just starting out, and it is just amazing what these people who come to the skate park, they come together, and it is just a community. You feel the love, you feel the acceptance, you feel just how much they're dedicated to this. And not only does it get them off the street, it gets them involved in an amazing health benefit sport. It reduces, I guess you would call it crime. Not crime, like, skateboarders skate in smooth areas and in the streets and stuff, and it can cause damage to nice marble. It can cause damage to benches, and having a dedicated skate spot just would, and that's expensive damages to marble and the benches that we have. So this, financial reasons, health reasons, bringing together a community in different ages, all those benefits. Some people believe the myth that skate parks bring together illicit drug use and stuff like that. I have never seen that. And all the skate parks I've been to in the area, Shrimp Town, the Frederick Skate Park, in Baltimore skate parks, Baltimore of all places, the people there are great. There's no drug use I ever see. It's just people that don't even know each other, just making conversation. And I have 2 friends. We all know we get stuck in these. And having a skate park to bring people together and actually communicate and, you know, bring that community together, it's amazing from what I've seen. And I'm really good at rambling when I'm nervous, so I'm gonna stop now.
You went 15 minutes.
But I'm sorry, oh my gosh, see, I have a project due this weekend and it says it has to be 6 to 8 minutes long, and I'm like, how am I gonna talk for 6 to 8 minutes?
Well,
I have no problem talking 8 to 6 minutes, but.
well, thank you for your comments.
That was
there.
good practice.
I need to practice a little, huh?
I will ask everybody, try to keep it 3
Short,
minutes or
yeah, I'm
so.
sorry.
We want everybody to talk, so.
I know.
If we have a rule, we go past noon, we get free pizza for everybody.
I know, I'm a talker.
Did we vote on that? No, we
they
didn't. That's
keep-
not a
they keep
rule.
bringing
Just
it up.
vote already.
I don't think that's ever been voted on.
All right, next person, please introduce yourself and your address.
I'm Sandy Scalero, and I'm one of the Scaleros. These are my granddaughters too, and I'm also from the Martinsburg area in Hedgesville. Most of you probably know my son, Philip Scalero. He's
spoke
very
with
much
Philip.
involved in the community and with skating. And my wife and I decided to come here because he wasn't able to because of his business requirements. I'm going to approach this from a different angle. I think you've heard adequate testimony about the benefits, both physical, community. It's a huge melting pot where skating is the thing that binds everybody together, and there's no ethnicity or other things of income or social standing that get in the way. But additionally, these skaters here in this area, I've been involved with some of the fundraising and work that the skaters have done to create this park. And they're very close. They need that last bit of money that they thought was originally, well, I'm not going to say the word promised, but committed, discussed. And it's important. The additions that'll build for them will finish the park. And also, we've all saved for things. We've all worked hard to do our part in something. Often it could have been our parents saying, if you save $2,000, I'll add $1,000 for the car that we smash into a tree a year later. But in this case, they've done their work. They've saved, they've worked, they've committed, they've gotten together, they've done the fundraisers, and they just need that last bit of commitment from the council here to ensure this park gets built, that all the parts of the skate park as designed, and I've seen the drawings, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful park, something you should be very proud of. And I think it's time to show that they've done their work, so let's do ours, and meet their commitment. And pretty much so I have to say, I skated too, but when I skated, the wheels were metal, so we're not going to talk about that. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, next row, please come up, introduce yourself, and remember there are hand wipes there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or whoever, thank you.
Hi, I'm Lindy Hickson, and I'm from the Hagerstown area. I'm also a teacher in Washington County. I've taught high school, middle school, and now elementary school. And skateboarding is one of the things that all 3 of the levels have all loved, all talked about. And a lot of the students who maybe not have, real supportive homes had skateboarding, but they didn't have anywhere to go. So this would be a great addition to Washington County. They would give the kids something positive to do, and they do all come together, which is something else that we as teachers try to teach them, help one another and build camaraderie against, people that you may not know. So I just think this would be a great opportunity for Washington County, and it would be really sad to see it not go through. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And next up, please introduce yourselves in the matter, and there's wipes there for your use. By the way, she was under 60 seconds. She's got the award today so far.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Marcus Thomas, Garrett
I'm
Chambers.
Garrett Chambers.
We're with Cushwa Brewing Company here, Williamsport, Maryland. We came out to support the skate park. Just wanted to hit on 2 main things. from a business standpoint, we held an event out at the brewery, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I started talking to Will Boyer. He had an idea to start promoting skateboarding in the community, and to also look at bringing a skate park to this area. So the day of the event, I can't tell you how many people showed up. Kids that were like 4 or 5, all the way up to like 30s or 40s, bringing their kids out in support for the skate park. It's a true testament about how people, when they really are passionate about something, they all come together. We also held a fundraising event at the brewery with Old Line Tattoo. They came out, they wanted to, of course, celebrate their anniversary, but it was also a fundraising event, and we held it at our brewery, and I can't tell you how many people showed up in support of the skate park to raise money to make sure that this skate park happens. And we, as a brewery, also have fronted money as far as fundraising to put towards this park. So I think it's beneficial for the kids, for the community, and beyond.
I agree with everything Marcus said, and there's been a lot of good points made here. The other thing that I would say, before moving home to start the brewery, we lived in Burlington, Vermont, and they have a very, very nice skate park up there. And one thing that has enabled them to do is make a deeper community connection with police officers and kids. It's a spot that kids are out having fun in an area that they are clearly allowed to do so. Frequently, officers would stroll through, chat, hang out for a while, and I think that's something that our town could desperately use as a connection between, a positive connection between law enforcement and youth. That's
I'll
all.
say something. Will Boyer, I'm going to hire him for marketing. I'm telling you, man, I got more emails, and I talked to him. I said, stop them. But yeah, you're right. I bet he did help turn them out.
He definitely is passionate about that, and you know, the day that we sat down to talk about a mini event at our brewery, and it quickly turned into a fundraising for the skate park, I could see where that focus was needed for that event.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the wipes there. Thank you. Hey, please introduce yourself and address.
Hi, I'm Pam Palmer. I live on Mulberry Avenue, just a couple blocks from Fairgrounds Park. And I'm a longtime resident, and I'm a grandmother, a mother, and my background's in community mental health, and I'm here in support of the skate park. A lot of the clients that I've had in the past, the amount of money that their families have, as well as the reliable transportation, basically preclude, in many cases, being on a team sport that you have to be committed to, on certain nights of the week. Their parents could be working, their parents could be incapacitated for some reason with their own addiction or mental health problems. And so when I heard about the skate park, I use Fairgrounds Park a lot myself. We go there as family. We walk there, and it's wonderful. One of the things that Hagerstown has been really great in is team sports. Like there's all kinds of softball there. Like every night of the week, it seems like there's people playing other basketball games and other types of activities as families, soccer and everything. But not every child is able to be on a team sport and have that kind of commitment, and they need an outlet, which is just, hey, pick up a skateboard, walk or ride a couple of blocks and go play and hang out with friends in a different kind of community. And from things that other people have said, there's a real community spirit. So they are getting that teamwork concept without having the pressure or financial, responsibility that their parents might not be able to provide. They're getting that in a different way, as well as the health benefits and everything. So when I heard about it and the plans I saw, I was like, I got to support this. So I really wanted to come out and say something positive about it. So that's my intake on it. I've never been on a skateboard. I'm not a skater, but as a community member, I really am for this. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to go first, ma'am? I'm going right after you.
All right, please introduce yourself and your address.
Hello, my name is Katie Sillix. I am from Frederick County. I live in Clover Hill. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm also a volunteer board member for the Citizens Review Board for Children. I am part of the Frederick chapter. So what we do is we review cases for children that are in out-of-home placement, and we make recommendations based on, what would be best for what we feel their future would be. When I was a kid, we lived in Hillcrest, and we did not have a skate park. We had dirt jumps. It was a construction site that was incompleted behind Hillcrest Elementary for many, many years. We didn't really care that we didn't have a skate park, but it was still a place where we came together, had fun, tried to do positive things, got creative, got exercise, joked around, and had a really wonderful time. If that dirt field had been a skate park, there probably would have been a lot less injuries, a lot less sketchy activity going on there with proper lighting and things of that nature. So my push is that I understand safety is a big concern, but having a controlled environment where kids can get creative and get a little risky is kind of part about life. It's part about being a kid. It's fun, So I'm in support of this program, and I really hope that you all vote to relieve the funding. Some of my best memories were with my skating friends, and I didn't skate. I rollerbladed and roller skated, but they were my family, and my family couldn't afford team sports. They were too expensive. It was hundreds of dollars for uniforms and equipment, and it was a no-go for my family. So going to the jumps and hanging out on green boxes were what we did. And I want kids to not have to tell people that that was their hangout spot. I want them to be able to tell kids that they got to hang out at the skate park instead. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
If there's wipes there, if you need them. Thank you.
You want to wipe? How you guys doing this evening? This morning? Evening for us. I work at night. I own a martial arts academy, so I'm also a teacher, and it's my son Thor. He lives in Montana. When the COVID hit,
Oh, we need your name and.
oh, I'm sorry. My name is Mike Moses. I actually
Thank you.
live in Hagerstown. I recognize a lot of you guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for all you do for the community. Love this town. Been here for about 15 years. And thank everybody for trying to start this, and hopefully it gets completed. But once again, my son lives in Montana where he skates every single day. He just started during the COVID, so it's only been about a year and a half. But in Missoula, they have an incredible skate park. Since that time, we've hit about 30 different skate parks in every town across the United States, because when I drive out there to see them, we get the boards and we go to all these parks. But I can't tell you how incredible it is for a town to have a skate park. And like they all said, it's just a place where everybody comes and meets, but it's also a place where these kids can show their art. So as a martial artist, this skateboarding culture is aligned with that, because it's an individual thing, and these guys learn to express themselves individually through their art. So it's an incredible thing to see. I think coming from the outside, only about a year ago I started hitting these parks. It's kind of different because I didn't really know much about it. But now that I've been in this world for about a year, I think it's one of the most important things any community can have in their city, in town. It not only transcends all the barriers of wealth, but the fitness aspect that she touched on is incredible. These kids are out there for 3-4 hours. I'm out there 3 or 4 hours because it doesn't cost me anything to bring them there, so it saves me a lot of money. But he'll stay out there for 3 to 4 hours, and they're just totally moving. In my world, martial arts, fitness is tied into that, as well as the spiritual aspect. But fitness is one of the things that nobody really thinks about these days until we get older. But at a young age, if you can start honing in a foundation of fitness in anything, these guys will grow up doing those habits that they're forming. I guess that's the only thing I would add is the fitness side of it, and how incredible it is for these guys at this young age to get those habits on their own. Would you like to add anything? Would you like to ask any questions?
You get 3 minutes.
Cody, you look like a skater, buddy. You do.
Thank you.
Did you look like a skater before you were a skater? No? Okay. But anyways, I appreciate everybody here, and thank you for what you guys do.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you. Anybody else would like to come forward? You know, the sooner you finish, the sooner we're going to vote yes on this. So just
hi, my name is Ryan McAllister, and I'm from Dual Highway in Hagerstown, and I'm here representing the Hagerstown Skatepark Task Force. We've done work for many months on this project, and I just wanted to introduce myself in case there are questions later. I can answer those. Obviously, we have ever since the project has began, we've done nothing but build support from those that will use the skate park, those that won't, that just know someone who will use the skate park, from the city council, and I would love to add all of your support to the project as well, so that it can be something that everyone can be excited about and can just bring all the benefits that everyone has listed. So
Your task force raised 30,000 plus already, haven't you?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. So thank you.
All right. If no one comes forward, I'm going to ask the commissioners if we can jump forward and bring the skateboard funding issue. I don't think Dan's going to be here, but I see Betsy and, well, why don't we just do that and bring the vote for a presentation for the funding here. And introduce yourself in the matter.
Good morning, Susan Buchanan, Director, Office of Grant Management, and with me this morning is Tiffany Ahalt, Director of Sales for the Hagerstown, Washington County Convention and Visitors Bureau. I believe you realize we're here to talk about the skate park. The reason we are here this morning is because the Hagerstown, Washington County Convention and Visitors Bureau has submitted a hotel rental tax grant application requesting $150,000 towards the cost of the design and construction of a 10,000 square foot skate park to be located in Fairgrounds Park in Hagerstown. The CVB projects that the park could potentially attract approximately 14,000 overnight visitors annually, and the total projected cost of the project is $705,000. The remaining portion of the expenses for the project will be paid for with a combination of city CDBG funds, FY22 program open space funds, and fundraising efforts. The Hagerstown Mayor and City Council have approved the installation of the park in the Fairgrounds Park, and the city staff has released a request for proposals for the design build. The proposals were reviewed by the Skate Park Task Force, and Spawn Ranch Skate Parks was selected to design and construct the new facility. The hotel rental tax grant application has been reviewed by the Washington County Office of Grant Management, and the organization and application are considered eligible use of hotel rental tax funds. I'll now give Tiffany a moment to speak more about the benefits of this park for the community as far as the tourism angle.
Good morning. Thanks again for the opportunity to speak with you all today and for your consideration of our request for the funds. And I think you know that our organization is always committed to supporting projects that not only enhance the infrastructure and increase quality of life for our residents, but certainly provide tremendous opportunities to support our tourism partners. We also look at projects that are certainly sustainable, and we have some pretty good examples, obviously, with the BMX track this particular weekend. We're awaiting any day to receive notice that we will be a destination for USA BMX 2022 Nationals event next year, and we anticipate that we will have these same opportunities with the skateboard park as well. And I do want to say, I know you all have been bombarded with the public input and support, but you know, for us in tourism, that's the magic. That is what helps us to do the marketing and to promote our destination for these events, because these organizers, sure, they want to bring their folks to your town, but they want people to feel welcome. They want to make sure that the spirit of their sport, the knowledge, the facilities really really meet their expectations of people who are traveling and investing their time and their family time and their money to support the passion of their youth. And I also just want to say that, the sports sector is very strong, and we have tremendous opportunities in our county. During the COVID pandemic, sports was one of the few sectors in the tourism industry that really faltered. I mean, people continued to travel. They continue to seek destinations where their children, their youth could participate in their sports. Some destinations fared better than others. So I will say that sports sector, we have tremendous opportunities as we continue to move forward, and feel very confident that the more we invest in our infrastructure is a real win-win for our community, for you all, as well as the residents. So thanks again for the opportunity. Happy to answer any questions.
Just a comment, the commissioners were really behind the BMX, look how good that's turning out.
Yes.
I think you just suggested there are going to be tournaments and nationals possibly recruited here because you have a state-of-the-art skateboard park. Is that
Exactly.
correct? That's the goal?
That's correct, and obviously having the BMX track in the same vicinity as the skateboard park really enhances the opportunity for us to bring in not only local but regional and national events as
And
well.
it looked like it was a good idea to expand it. The original concept was only like 500,000. And
Yes.
then now the request now, I think it was a design drawing for an extra ramp, which would help in that recruitment, which does draw in tournaments and folks.
Yes.
What was the completion date for this? Do we have a completion date?
For the
Skatepark.
Skatepark, I'm sorry. I do not know the date of that. We have, I think.
Thanksgiving, that quick?
Okay.
Commissioner Klein, I move to approve the request for the hotel rental tax funding from the Hagerstown, Washington County Convention and Visitors Bureau in the amount of $150,000 for direct expenses associated with the design, construction of a skate park located at Fairgrounds Park, Hagerstown, Maryland.
Boy, that was long.
I'll second.
Do I have a second? That was short, or no, now open up the comments?
With a few comments here.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity a few weeks ago to tour the location of the skateboard park. My cousin is Will Boyer, who's serving on the city's committee to help design and plan out this park. And I'm not a skateboarder, I'm not a rollerblader. But when myself and Commissioner Burkett went to visit him, he had a few of his friends there. Mr. Tissue from the city was there. Just the enthusiasm about this sport and this activity is pretty awesome. One of the people, maybe one of you in the audience, who emailed us, commented about how this is the first year skateboarding is at the Olympics. Is that right? That's pretty cool that we're at the start of that as well, and we're creating our skateboard park here in Washington County since that sport has become kind of worldwide. It's caught on worldwide. So it's good to see that. Would also like to say I love to see the crowd that we have that turned out today. COVID has kind of dampened some things these last few months, this last year and a half. This is probably the most sizable crowd we've had since COVID has started. And I love to see that enthusiasm. So thank you everyone for coming out, voicing your support for this project, and getting us to act on this project. Good job.
Any comment I have is I guess I can't hire Will now. It's Wayne's cousin, so Will can't come to work for me. So now, it's thank you for the emails. So I got one trivia question. You win a prize, and you got to raise your hand. You can't. What was the first skateboard park and where and what year? Does anybody know? Oh, daggone it. Now, come on, if I know that. Yeah, you're good. California, 76. Actually, it was Carlsbad, California. Here.
Oh! Yay! All right, with that being said, I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Congratulations to you guys. Thank you. As I look at the agenda, the next item, Sarah Graves, I believe you're up with the budget adjustment. Sarah, please introduce yourself in the matter. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sarah Greaves, Chief Financial Officer. Here today before you for a budget adjustment related to income tax. As stated in the ARF, the county has received additional income tax over what was budgeted for fiscal year 21. There are a couple major reasons why this has occurred. Number one, we did put forth a very conservative budget for fiscal year 21 as we were entering into the pandemic. And the assumptions that were used for the budget included up to 20% unemployment in some cases. And now having gone through that, we do realize that at the height, I think our unemployment was closer to 12% in April, and then it reduced from there. So we did not reach certain levels that we anticipated, or at least planned for worst case scenario for the budget for fiscal year 21. So I want to make sure that that's clear and understood. Also, fiscal year 21 was the first year where the 3.2% income tax rate was in full effect, and combined with that reduced budget related to the pandemic, I think that compounds the situation. In addition, we have seen quite a bit of money come out of federal and state programs. This funding was provided to certain businesses in the area, and there could be potentially bonuses or stipends that were provided to employees over and above their normal wages that they would have received, which would then also be taxable and included in some of the disbursements that we've seen. We also know that the unemployment was taxed and is currently still being taxed by the state of Maryland, even though it is exempt from income tax. And so we'll see in the future at a later date some drawback from additional distribution that the county has received related to that. And then finally, I'd just like to mention the February distribution did come in about $9 million over budget. Probably a couple million of that's related to the income tax rate in general, but we're estimating around $7 million is probably related to the change in timing of payments made from pass-through entities. That was a change at the state level, allowed them to pay their taxes in the fourth quarter, which was in December, which we received in February. So that bulk payment is not necessarily an additional income tax payment, but rather just a change in the timing of when we're receiving that tax. So I just wanted to start with that because you know, it is a sizable amount. The county, myself, and sorry, John, I didn't introduce you. I just realized that. County Administrator John Martirano is also on this agenda with me. If you'd like to say a few words.
I'll just say, and then I'll let, she knows the numbers, so that's why I was going to let her do it. But I'll just say that now that you went through that first part, the second part was some suggestions. We sat down and talked about what can we use this money for, and you'll see those three things listed there. One particular project, school construction, as you know, there's no money programmed, I think at least for the next 10 years for a potential new school. So that's something that we talked to the board about some in the spring when we were looking at the FY22 budget. So we were looking for some seed money to put into just an account. I don't know what that would be, when that would be, where it would be, but it would be some money there to allow some discussions with the Board of Education for a potential new school. Also our pension, and I'll let Sarah talk specifically about it, but I know we talked about how, you know, the percentages in our pension are lower than we would like them to be.
The funded ratio is lower than 60%. Optimally, we'd like to be around 80% or higher.
Right, and there is a plan in place over the next 15 to 20 years to bring that up, but an infusion of money such as this would help move that up and move that faster. And of course, the radio project, that if we could pay for that up front, then we wouldn't have lease payments of about $800,000 a year each year for the next 10 years, which would hopefully loosen up our budget as we move over the next 10 years to try to do that. So I don't know if you want to go into any more specifics, but those are suggestions that we came up with, so we wanted to bring those to the board and at least start the discussion with you today.
What would the $7 million bring our ratio to?
Well, I think 2 million is about a 1% change if everything is held equal. So it would bring it up a couple percentage points. 3 to 4 percentage points, but I'd rather not look at it like from a standpoint of, you know, what would it do for us today, but as the money is in there, it'll grow, it's invested, and we'll continue to get interest from that investment. So I think that's important to understand and realize.
Sarah, did you provide to us maybe what our peer groups, like I'm thinking Allegheny County, Frederick County, other counties in Maryland, with their pension, the percentage funding is for their pension?
I don't think I specifically provided that. However, through discussions with Bolton, which is our actuary, you know, they do tell us that 80% is looked at as like a normal funded pension. I do believe we are low compared to our peers. I don't have that data with me today, but that's definitely something that I could gather for you. I do probably have some of it upstairs, just probably not every county in Maryland. So it would be relatively easy for me to get, but I don't have it all.
I was gonna say, I think you had that. I think I saw that somewhere, but I don't remember off the top of my head, so I don't want to quote it, but I think we had that.
If 80%'s normal, why are we at 50%? Why haven't we been
Well, I think
avoiding this? What's the correct?
I don't think it's avoidance. I think there's over a 5-year period, there's been certain assumptions that have gone into the pension, and when actual results vary from those assumptions that were made, you get differences, and obviously it impacts our future outlook. So for instance, if we assumed that we were going to get an investment rate of return of 7.75% and we only received 5%, that's a difference in the assumption and the actual experience. And so there are a multitude of factors like that that have occurred, mortality rates, changes in pay. All of these factors are assumed, and when there are differences, they impact the pension. One of the things, something was on the tip of my tongue. We also changed our assumed investment rate of return from 7.75% to 7.25%. I actually just received an email from our actuary that said there are others in the state of Maryland that are reducing theirs further. We're still in line with our peers. However, I think it might have been the state of Maryland or one of their entities that reduced theirs to 6.8%. So that's something that also contributes to our funded ratio, because basically the plan assumed previously a higher rate of return and now is assuming a lower rate of return. So we're not as well funded. But it's important to keep our assumed rate well aligned with what we actually think is going to happen. That's going to give us the most accurate projection.
Sarah, for me, I understand knowing where our peers are and so forth, but for me, we're Washington County, and I need to stay focused on Washington County. And I thought you made an excellent point on using the word future and trying to get ourselves in a better position to get to where we need to be. So I think this is going to be just an outstanding step towards getting it.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Charlie, I'm sorry.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
As we talked, you told me about some of these things, and I think they're all great things, and I think that it's important we follow through on, but you said something here this morning that caught my attention. You made a comment about that we might have to repay some money to the state. Wouldn't it be a smart thing to put some of this money back to make that repayment, and how much do you think that will be?
Well, preliminary estimates for that early on were about $5 million for Washington County. Now that's a state estimate. I don't have, I didn't make that estimate. That's from the state.
So if we're talking about around $5 million, wouldn't it be smart to maybe have that money set aside since we don't own this money yet?
I would generally tend to agree with you and that thought process 100%. However, I do believe that seeing how income tax has come in this year for fiscal year 21, we may need to revise our assumptions for fiscal year 22. I didn't come to talk about that today, but I think that that would be a way that we could factor in some absorption of that drawback, even through that process.
I'm just trying to look ahead, think ahead,
Yep, excellent.
We have this extra money right now, but we might get charged later some back, you know, the state's gonna say, we want some of that back.
And if all
To
things
me,
were
it'd be
held,
smart to keep that money aside and wait.
and generally I would agree if all things were held equal, and I didn't think we needed to revise our estimates for fiscal year 22, but I do think that we should take a look at that, and there's gonna be some additional revenue there that can absorb that. But I appreciate you thinking about that, because 100% in a normal year, I would agree.
And just one other comment, I've heard you say this a couple times, where is it? One of your points in discussion were that we did a very conservative budget for fiscal year 21 due to the onset of the pandemic. Shouldn't we always be looking at a conservative budget?
Absolutely.
And with that kind of mindset?
Absolutely, sir. So I think, you know, one of the things that we have to remember, though, from fiscal year 21 is as we moved forward, we didn't even have any funding appropriated to our capital projects in fiscal year 21. So that's very conservative, because in a way it's really not sustainable to continue on like that with the zero cash being infused into our infrastructure projects or our other equipment replacement for highway, or some of those projects that require cash and can't be and are not bond eligible. So I think that while we did move forward very conservatively, some of those decisions I would not recommend perpetually.
Sarah, speaking of some capital projects, didn't several months ago during the off season of preparing for the budget, didn't we transfer some money into our capital program already? Is that over and above what's in here?
Yes, sir. So, yes, the $19 million that you see here does not include the $10 million transfer that we had earlier in the year.
When was that? Roughly?
It was February.
February.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was related to income tax payments that we had received in the first quarter, almost the first quarter of the year.
Mm-hmm. So, if you were to combine that, are we looking at $29 million in surplus?
Well, so because you say that, I do want to clarify that this is just income tax that we're looking at today. So when we're not closing our books yet for fiscal year 21, we have a couple more weeks of adjustments and payments, so on and so forth, to get to a point where we know what our potential surplus would be. So if we're just looking at income tax alone and we had not made that adjustment of 10 million, it would be close to 29 million. That's what we expect. So we did already transfer 10 million out, and that's
just
where
my
this
request.
19
When numbers are presented to us like this, if you could add prior months or prior quarter budget adjustments to show that we've had previous surplus, I think that would help paint a better picture.
Sure,
as well.
sure.
Because the number's actually a little bigger. Just a few comments and questions I have. I fully support the radio communication system upgrade. You're taking us from a lease to a purchase, correct?
That's
so
correct.
We'll own the equipment.
That's
What's
correct.
the lifespan of those radios?
I think in early conversations that I had with the emergency services team, it was 15, 20 years.
So if we were doing a 10-year lease, we're still going to benefit because the radios will last a little longer than that lease.
That's my understanding.
And then
I could be wrong, but
no one's here from emergency services, but and then potentially, if those radios do need replaced even sooner, or there's a new technology we haven't even thought about, we own that asset that we could potentially sell it and recoup a little bit of.
Well, I think this project is actually for the tower infrastructure, not necessarily like the actual radios, but the infrastructure that goes into the interoperability with us
But
and the
it's $8
state.
million worth of an asset.
It is.
Yeah.
It's huge.
My
so.
my question about the school construction: have we heard back about the $1.8 million that we've allocated in school savings to the Cascade and Hancock elementary schools?
I have not. However, I do understand that there were key personnel that needed to respond to that were out of town, and they should be back this week. So I am on their radar, and they will be responding.
Okay. Just, personally, this is my opinion. I'd like to know where that money's going to be spent before we allocate additional monies. I think that was important for those two communities. I think the commissioner spoke loud and clear and unanimously that that's important for us. And not that I'm against giving the Board of Education money for school construction at all. I don't want that to be the narrative that's shared, but we gave them $1.8 million and we haven't heard yet how that might be used to benefit those schools. So that's important to me. And as far as the pension goes, I think it's important. I think the reason we need to look at peers though, and it's really important whenever you compare one organization to another, you look at peers within your group. You don't want to compare us to Walmart, but you want to know we always do what's right and what's best for Washington County, of course. But we need to know what's typical for a government entity of our size. A corporation typically has to have a higher pension funding because there's less of a guarantee that a private business or a corporation is going to be in business in perpetuity, like a government entity is likely going to be in business in perpetuity. So I do think it's important that we look at our peers to know what's going on in our peers. What is the industry standard? Maybe it's 80% that our advisors gave us. But you know, we need to look at what our peers are doing as well. And there might be an issue that's affecting all of us within our industry, being county government, not just you know, unique to us.
Okay.
So,
Wayne,
Go ahead.
Wayne, would you say you'd be supportive of 2 to 3 and hold off on the $4 million decision?
is that something you would agree
I'd
to?
consider that if we could get consensus and
Yeah, I
as part of a
think, I
motion.
think the radio is, the upgrade
Yeah,
is
that's important.
extremely important. Pension's extremely important to me, and I'd have to, I wouldn't mind hearing the question Wayne just asked.
Right,
Also, on the $4 million, if we were to move forward with the $4 million in the school construction, we have the ability to move that money anywhere we want anyhow.
Yes, I was
As well
gonna,
as having a
So-
placeholder.
that's correct. I was gonna suggest that because if we do move forward with that adjustment, what we'll do is we'll create a project specifically for that 4 million, and it can be for future, school construction. It doesn't have to be allocated yet towards a specific thing, and the
So
commissioners would have
we
discretion
just
to
want more
move that.
information from the school board, so we're.
Absolutely.
I don't see anybody
I can get
objecting to
that
it, we just
and
want
come
more.
back.
So
Commissioner-
basically, you're saying the motion could be to accept the budget adjustment as you stated here, then we can always change something if we need to. Is that
Oh,
correct?
absolutely, it's in your purview, unless you wanna wait.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, yeah, there's nothing from us as specific recommendation for any school or anything, that's what I was saying, we were looking for
Okay.
some money that we could put in a fund,
I'll
just
make
our,
the
it'll be
motion.
our own
Go ahead.
internal.
I'd
Okay,
motion to accept it as stated in your budget adjustment.
Second.
Okay, I have first and second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very much.
Commissioners. Thank you.
Sarah, we'll follow up with Board of Education and get that information.
Yeah.
as quickly as
Absolutely.
we can.
If they're listening, we're gonna follow up with you. Thank
Yep.
you.
Right,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Jeff, if you're listening. Jeff's probably listening.
He's
so if
probably
you're-
working on
if
it
you're
right
listening,
now.
he's probably working on it right now, right? So I appreciate it.
All right, that seems to be all on our open agenda. Need a motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into closed.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. 5-0. Thank you very much. No matter.
Larry Etchison, Director of Human Resources, bringing forth to you a structural engineer candidate, position 166, at a grade 15, step 1, at an annual salary of $60,840. We recommend Ravapreet Gill. Mr. Gill is recommended as a structural engineer with our engineering department. Mr. Gill holds a bachelor's degree in civil engineering and will have his master's degree on or about 13 August of this year from the University of Akron. He has worked as a student research associate on projects funded by the Ohio Department of Transportation. He also holds many certifications, and he started to even learn the hydraulic programs that are currently used in our engineering office.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Krista, I think you have some
I do.
committee appointments and then we're done. Okay, thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Washington County Veterans Advisory Association, they are requesting to appoint, bear with me just a minute, Dan Plotner to serve an unfulfilled term through February 28, 2023 as a representative of the United States Military Service.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. What other?
Also, the Washington County Board of Social Services are requesting to appoint Latrina Robinson to serve a full 3-year term. The full 3-year term will be, it's not written in here, but will be from September 1, 2021 to August 31st, 2024.
Motion approved.
Is there a second? First and second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Motion to go out of open session?
Motion to go out of open
Is there a
session.
second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.